And welcome to Down the Alley. This is PMAC.
And Ted T.S. Spirides.
And Katie.
Taking a week off, I'm feeling, and I've had a day. I'll raise my hand. I've had a day. It's only afternoon. I don't remember the last time we podcasted in the afternoon, so I don't know if it's the day I'm having, if I'm just on one, or if it's the afternoon pod time. I'm not sure what it is, but I'm ready. I'm ready to rant and talk a little lax. How are you guys? Are you guys feeling spiced up for the afternoon, or is this throwing you guys way off?
The
I
afternoon,
don't like it.
the afternoon time slot hits a little bit different than like the 9 or 10 o'clock thing that we normally do. And so I kind of like it. I get that it's not the perfect setup for everybody's schedule, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah,
I'm
maybe
cozy. I'm on my laptop. I'm downstairs. Was on my computer and we were like, let's podcast. And so I didn't even have to move and trying to use my laptop more. It's a little dated, but we're gonna go with it today.
Hey, you sound good, and
Good.
and
I'm
you look
also
good enough
resting
for
my
radio.
sprained ankle a little bit, so it's nice to not be in a desk chair.
Well, that's probably Katie's big news for
Yeah.
since the week off. Katie,
I know
you're
I
coming
wasn't
off the
on those other
IR.
two interviews either.
Oh, so you haven't been on in a while. Well, so
Yeah, it's
welcome
been a
back.
while.
And you're coming off the IR, hopefully here.
Hopefully. Yeah, I sprained my ankle really bad last week. It gives me so much more empathy when the players come off with like a rolled or a sprained ankle now because I legitimately couldn't walk for a good couple minutes. I could not put weight on it. And I used to think they were maybe just being a little soft, and it hurt really bad and continued to hurt for a good 4 or 5 days. I think yesterday was the first day I like didn't wear the boot and it felt okay. I think I overdid it a little bit yesterday. So now it hurts again, but just kind of trying to rest it. I don't think I've ever like sprained my ankle. I think I've rolled it, but I don't think I've actually ever sprained it where I like couldn't put weight on it and like the next day continued to like not be able to walk on it. So it hurts. It's been a wild ride, but I think I'm on the way up. I did utilize our resource as a coach and went to the trainer and I didn't go to the doctor just to get her opinion first on if I should go to the doctor. And she said nope. And she gave me some PT. And so we're just going with it.
Shout out Laker trainer staff. Yeah, no, I'm cool with you utilizing that versus the doctor, because
Yeah.
you're going to get a bill and you have no clue what the bill's, how much it's going to be for. So,
yeah, well, when I stubbed my toe in Ireland, that was right before the season, and I did go get an x-ray because you were like, it's not broken unless it turns purple. And then the next day it was literally purple. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then, we get home from our trip, which is like at least a week later, and it was going to be the season. And I was like, I better go get this checked out before I'm on, the season, the field every day. And it wasn't broken. And it was like $300. And I was like, forget about it. So I'm just withering in pain instead.
Don't get your hand or feet x-rayed. Like if it's broke,
I
it's
know.
broke.
It's true. And I was nice to get a borrowed boot, and honestly I hated it, but like it felt so when I think I put the boot on Saturday. I sprained it on Thursday. I think Friday I kind of hobbled around, and then Saturday I used the boot and I was like, wow, this thing actually like makes it feel a lot better.
Yeah,
So
you and a couple of your coaches were wearing boots and braces. I came out and I was
yeah.
like, "What's up, crippled coaching
Yeah,
crew?"
Team 36 practice looked a little rough from the coaching standpoint. We were not our best on Sunday.
Ted, how about you? How was your week off? What any updates for the people?
I was also on the injured reserve with a kidney stone. So internal issues, not external issues. It's actually crazy almost 10 years to the dot. I had my first kidney stone 10 years ago, and then got one like Friday night, kind of started feeling it, and it sucks as much as you'd think it would suck. So
Yeah, I want to throw up right now. Like
Yeah,
every time you like talk about it, I'm like, I'm gonna
I,
throw up.
yeah, I won't go into details, but it was just it was a rough weekend, and feeling a lot better now. But yeah, I think coaches can get hurt too, staff can get hurt too and have injuries. It's a grind for everybody. And it will bring me into a question that I have, and
Is
I
this
won't
your question rant that you were teasing me before we hit record?
Yeah, it is. I don't know if we should. It kind of ties into this a little bit,
All right, hit me.
White, but fall ball.
Fall
I
ball.
so I had our do we as a lacrosse community, not we as in this staff or Minnesota or whatever, do we push fall ball too much? Like, are we trying to make something? What's the quote, Katie, from Mean Girls?
Are we trying to make fetch happen?
We're trying to make fall ball happen, and it's not going to happen.
Are we trying to make chicken salad out of chicken shit? Is that what you're asking?
I guess, like, obviously with club, a lot of clubs kind of run like year-round stuff, which I understand. I get it. It's fine. We have our reasons for fall ball. We've talked about that. And why we do it has very little to do with lacrosse X's and O's, and very much to do with a lot of other things that are intangible that, benefit us later on in the year. But like, is it just like, it was like a cool thing to do for a while, and like colleges do it? And like, are we trying to push it too much at the high school and youth level because like people want something to do? And like, does it burn everybody out more than maybe not having a fall season? I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends on the kid. We've talked about this before on episodes of like every kid and every family's different on how much they can and can't and want and don't want to do. But like, is like, it just was thinking about fall ball, and like, not only do clubs do fall stuff now, but like high schools are doing it, youth teams are doing it, and it's just it's optional. But are we trying to make it happen when it shouldn't be happening?
I think we've talked about it internally, I guess you could say. And yeah, I think I won't speak for you, but I think you're more on maybe the negative side currently. I like fall ball personally. I think there's a lot of pros to fall ball. You want to put your stick away for some time. But as coaches, we don't want them to put their stick away for 8 months and then pick it up April 1. So, how you structure fall ball, I think is important. Should you be going 7 days a week in fall ball? Probably not. I don't even think colleges go 7 days a week. So, it needs to be pulled back. It needs to be multi-sport friendly. I think it's good to, again, keep the rust off the stick. It brings the fellas and the gals back together.
That's like my biggest pro.
Yeah.
Like, especially from a club perspective at high school, it maybe wouldn't matter as much because they all know each other. But at club, you got to like learn each other's names, get to know the coaches. Like, you're starting a new season, and even though a chunk of kids probably played together prior, there might be some new players. You got to get gear handed out. You got to,
even at the high school level, right? You want to get, there's difference. There's a transition from youth to high school. So you want to get the freshmen in, maybe have, the gear orders, right? We just had like a parent meeting thing. It's like, all right, there's a few things you need to get to be a high school lacrosse player. You got to have the sweatsuit. You got to, we have a team helmet. We've got, you might want the gloves and the bag. Like, we have our practice penny. Again, the gear, like you're saying, there's just the off-season programming. Like, you need to sign up for the season by this date. We're doing this fundraising. So again, like you said, it's not about all X's and O's, but it's get the freshman in the system. Get the kid that just moved from Arizona dialed in. When you're at Vanilla, the Maryland kid dialed in. So You got to get people dialed in.
Got to prep the soil, as they say.
I like all those intangibles of like you get to know everybody and the new team because we do our tryouts in July. And so then it would just be kind of awkward to not do anything. But at the same time, we like preach our winter training so much that I think today, ask me this a different day, I might feel differently. But today, I feel like it's too much because I don't even think enough time had passed between really the end of the season. It was a month. Like nobody forgot about anybody. It was almost like they hadn't even really, they were still sick of each other. They were so sick of me. And then we were starting practice again. So it's almost like you can't really start in October to really give them a break. Start school, start your fall sports, let the temperatures drop a little bit because starting in October would just be kind of weird to just kind of do a month, I guess. I mean, I guess we could, but then we hadn't really been apart from each other enough to need to reconvene. So I'm kind of like, yeah, I see that point. But at the same time, I'm like, we would be fine. And we push our winter training so much that like, I feel like we're spreading our opportunities so thin. We offer a lot. We really do. It truly is 11 months out of the year, besides the high school season, that you're able to get your stick in your hands. That would, we start training in November, that it's like, would 2 months really make, 2 more months really make that much of a difference, considering a lot of them are doing stuff with their high school or like youth programs, or the motivated kids can also still go back in their backyards because it's still kind of warm out, or meet at the park. It's like,
you can go in your backyard any time of year.
Yeah, yep. And it's like, sometimes I think we're contributing to that overscheduling. And it's like, they want to go to the football game on Friday. They have their homecoming dance on Saturday, and then they have practice on Sunday. And it's like, and they're going to school 5 days a week. That I kind of am like, sometimes I really go back and forth of like, is this really necessary anymore? Whereas it's cool that all of these high schools and programs are offering stuff, in which case it kind of makes the club fall ball kind of irrelevant. So I think, not saying anything about next year, but I think we're definitely going to consider, it's a great topic of discussion because I think there's a really long list of pros and cons that kind of at any given day I kind of jostle back and forth for. We've like awesome weather.
Yeah, the weather's been good. I don't know. I think
if the weather was shitty, I would have hated it.
It would suck if the weather was bad. But again, there's no tournaments we can really do in February or March unless you're going way out of state. So if you want to sneak in a couple of fall ball tournaments, like, or off-season tournaments as a high school or a club, now is the kind of time to do it, So
no, that's where I was going with it is like, is it's a weird subject because fall lacrosse is off season, like it's out of season, like spring football, like it's there, it happens every year. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it neither? Is it both? I think, I know we at Team 36 have always done a fall season for the reasons we talked about, but now I feel like everybody's doing fall. And there's like all this fall stuff. And then there's the added aspect for older kids of potential showcase recruiting, or
prospect days, visits.
So now that's like, those are on Sundays. And then it's like, I have club practice, but I'm also going on a visit. So I miss one club. I mean, is missing one club practice a big deal? No. But if they're only getting 7 over the course of the fall, like you're missing 1/7 of the fall season. So it's an interesting, again, people make their choices and prioritize how they want to do it. And as we said, from a business perspective, or not even business, but organizational team perspective, there's a lot of pros to working out the kinks, getting the foundation set so that when you get to preseason and then spring/summer, you can just jump right into systems, X's and O's, skills, and not be like, hey, who are you? Like, so there's a ton of positives, but I was just curious, are we pushing it too hard? We, again, as the lacrosse community, not Ted and PMAC and Katie.
Yeah, and some people, again, you have the opportunity, like you said, you get to opt out. Like if you're all in on hockey, or you're a big football player, fall ball isn't something you have to do. Your club might do it, your high school might do it. But if this is the time of year where you need to be stick put away, and maybe you're a fall sport kid, but you can do winter training, great. Good. You come back in for winter training. Or maybe you're a 3-sport athlete. Fall, you're doing football, winter, you're doing hockey. All right, that's fine too. Maybe you sneak into a couple sessions when you can, or a winter league game, and then preseason in March, you jump into captain's practices, and that's what you can do. Everyone's schedule is different depending on your age, sports. Again, just because we offer opportunities, or a high school team offers opportunities, doesn't mean they're over pushing it. Like, I think it's just, you just have to look at it as it's an opportunity to play. That's not a good thing. It's not a bad thing.
Yeah, I can get on board with that.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting question. And like Katie said, ask me tomorrow, ask me the next day. It probably goes back and forth, just depending on how I'm feeling. So, interested to hear about our listeners' view on fall ball, parents, players. Maybe we won't hear anything from them. Maybe that'll strike a nerve with somebody, and they'll tell us. We'll get some feedback on fall ball.
I think we'll get something from the DTA insiders that text us, after Hot Topic.
I think one thing is certain, PMAC, you were not a fan of fall ball in college.
Oh, yeah, you want to talk about college fall ball? That could be a whole episode.
It sounds like, I'll just sum it up and we can move on. It sounds like college fall ball might be one of those, they're trying to figure out who's for real, trying to figure out who wants it bad enough, maybe who's mentally tough enough to be on the team in the spring. Would that be a fair assessment of what college fall ball is like? Or maybe the intangible or the agenda of a fall ball season for a college coach?
Again, to summarize it without making this college fall ball, a whole episode topic, I think that's a great quick summary. Again, it could be a good time to hand out the practice pennies and get the freshmen acclimated. But they're going to test you. They're going to find out, they might even try to get you to quit a little bit. Did he come out of shape? That's going to get exposed. There's a list of reasons to have fall ball in college. Yes. And there's, I know Turnbull's wanted to come back on the episode. That could be a good Turnbull. Turnbull will have some good story. As a goalie, you get to see a lot. And he has a really good memory. He'd bring some good Detroit Mercy, Coach Colin and company fall ball stories to the table, I think.
I can't wait to hear them.
Speaking of college on campus, we had a discussion, maybe an argument, maybe a rankings conversation at Down the Alley Fall Classics, loosely sticking on the topic of fall ball and fall ball conversations amongst the staff, when we weren't necessarily coaching or whatnot. We're talking about Subway. We're talking about sandwiches. We're talking about Subway. And speaking of a college player, college fall ball, my sister shot over a text message to the family chat and said, man, it was what a time to be alive when Subway footlongs were $5. And this spurred a conversation immediately because Ted and I are anti-Subway. We absolutely hate Subway. We've probably
I
ran.
like Subway.
No, okay, stop.
I'm
no,
not
you
kidding.
don't. You do
I
not
don't
like
prefer,
Subway.
I honestly I think I prefer it to Jimmy John's.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
No, you
I
don't.
like Jersey Mike's
You're
the best.
trying to start a fight right now.
No, I'm not. This is my order. I love Quiznos, but it's over. There is one in Lakeville. I love a toasted sandwich.
They closed.
Oh, it did? I think they all closed. So then I love Potbelly, not one south of the river, right?
Oh no.
I will agree with you on Potbelly. I love Potbelly.
So I can't go to those two. My third choice then, which becomes my top choice in proximity, is Jersey Mike's. I love Jersey Mike's. I didn't know I liked it until we did a fundraiser, so I kind of forced myself to go, and I thought it was really good. Then Subway, then Jimmy John's, and then all the other ones that I don't even think I've ever been to. I don't think I've ever been to like a Firehouse.
I will say this because it's starting to become known that, like, quote unquote, I hate Subway. Like,
I really like it.
Necessarily hate the sandwich product, like the end product. Like if someone put one in front of me, I'd probably eat it. So I'm not like anti the end product. It's getting to the end product is such a pain in the ass. And it's always a situation. It's the Subway plague. My dad and I have talked about it for years. It's a situation. Every time you need to go there and you have to do it quickly, or you just need to be efficient, it's anything but. It's just always a plague. There's always something happening that's going to cause it to be a 45-minute ordeal. So that's why I hate it, is that a quick serve food sandwich place, you're going there when you don't have a lot of time. You're going there for convenience. Not because it's
so true. And
not going there because it's a 5-star sandwich. And then when you go there for convenience and it's not convenient, then that's where the hate or the frustration or the anti-Subway. I still am anti-Subway, but that's the reason why. So people are like, "Oh, can you not like it?" It's like, well, again, it's more getting to the end, and a finish line is a huge issue always.
So I think Chipotle is getting just as bad of that plague. And when we did our kitchen, we tested them all. We tested all the fast food, and none of it is cheap and none of it is fast.
So now getting to diving into our conversation, our family group chat, talking about the $5 footlong, no more, not even near.
You can't get anything for $5.
So now the experience sucks. Now the price sucks. And you add on the on-campus surcharge. You're using your student bucks, or your Stony Brook bucks. Yeah. The subways are on campuses all over the country, Detroit Mercy included. I have an accusation to make. Is Subway the reason for the student loan crisis in America?
I don't know. That's something to be investigated. Not even just Subway, but licensed locations inside.
Yeah, we didn't have any of that. Oh, that too. But like, we didn't have any of that stuff on campus. But I know a lot of places, a lot of like on campus have like Caribou or Starbucks, right?
Every college campus I've been on in the last 10 years, like I graduated college 15 years ago, and we had like off-brand, like it was, like it wasn't Chick-fil-A, it was like Chicken Palace or something.
Yeah, we didn't have like anything like that wasn't school sponsored.
Now every college campus I've been on in recent years has all the name brands, licensed locations. So it's going to be it's going to be operated by the food service staff at the school.
Oh,
and they'll get the branding and the recipes and the ingredients, so they can essentially run a Subway but it's owned by the food service at the college, and they make the profit, and then they will just pay Subway or whoever a percentage of all sales or profits or whatever to use the marketing.
That'd be the best. We only had a Taco John's and a Subway, and they were not at all anything to do with the school. And my roommate applied to Subway, and they told her she was overqualified.
Yeah. So I am on the anti-Subway train for reasons previously discussed with Ted, because we've had terrible experiences there. Again, their sandwich may or may not be decent, but the experience there has sucked. I am now planning my flight. I think Subway might be the reason for the student loan crisis. So that's my latest accusation on Subway.
If you think about it, again, convenience, right? And instead of college students making peanut butter sandwiches in their dorm room eating ramen, they can just swipe the student card at the name brand places. It's really easy. That's obviously going to sound better than the alternative. And, let's just say it's double the cost every meal that you have. Because someone, hey, somebody's got to get their cut, right? And then it's like, well, okay, now if it costs $10,000 a semester to go to college, well, I need 15 or 20 now because I'm swiping every time.
$14.50 for a foot long. For a foot long. The foot long sandwich was $14.50.
That's
it's a lot.
it's a
lot of money for a sandwich that you could make for $1 at home.
I rest my case.
Their bread is really good.
We've got a few topics here. Twins, Vikings. Do we want to even bitch about Minnesota sports, or
I'll sign off?
We're just gonna rest our case.
Par for the course.
Okay, so we don't need to do a deep dive.
We'd be here all day.
It's just really tough. It's just really tough.
Yeah. Next subject.
Do we want to break the news now or after the real well, we've talked a lot of lacrosse, actually. Talked fall ball. But the lacrosse topic of the day, before or after do we want to break the news for the fans?
We want to talk lacrosse first, break the news last.
Ooh, teaser. I got some news here. I got some news here, so I'm going to save it. I'm going to save the news. People who are watching, putting the news away for later. Well, there is breaking news in the lacrosse world, which is cool, and that's what we're going to discuss. Lacrosse being added to the Olympics. So a little golf clap for the sport of lacrosse. Go ahead. What?
Potentially, right? It has to pass like one more. It got officially added to the vote or something like that. Like it got through the first step. From my understanding, it has now been added to the list of sports that could be added in 2026 or whatever.
Like it was added to the ballot.
2028?
Yeah, 2028 maybe. Yeah. So like
back to
I think the committee now has to vote on it getting in, but you have to be nominated to get on the vote first. So this was the first. So it's much closer, much more of a reality now, I think, than maybe in previous years, which is cool. Mainly, I think if it does end up getting added, I think for me, the coolest part of that is a lot of people that maybe have never seen lacrosse will just like accidentally see it. Because when you're watching the Olympics, you're watching these weird sports, right? And you're like, what is this? What is handball? What is highlight? Like all these things, like that's an Olympic sport. You never heard of it before. There's probably a big portion of the world that has no idea what a lacrosse game looks like. So that could be really cool, just for exposure of the sport.
Yeah, I think that's been the biggest issue, right? Of now we have PLL on more mainstream TV. I think there's more that can be done there, but they're making better efforts than anyone has in the past. There's more college being on, the ESPNs and things of the world. The more
is it going to be sixes? Is that what I saw at one point
for the Olympics?
Yeah, I believe it's six.
I believe so, which, people have their opinions on sixes. I don't know. So I guess I won't do a deep dive on that. But like you said, Ted, the more kids that can see it on TV, the more sports fans in general can see it on TV, the better for the sport. The more people growing up, oh, I want to be a lacrosse player, or I want to go try that sport, or, accidentally, that's how you found out about it, right? You accidentally saw a Syracuse game.
It was actually no, it was I accidentally saw a like box NLL. It was called MILL back then.
Oh, okay.
It's like, professional indoor. So that's kind of where I was like, whoa, they're in a hockey rink, but they're not playing hockey. I can kind of connect the dots here. This looks cool. But again, same thing where would have never known about it until I just happened to watch it. And I'm like, okay, I've just been exposed to it now. This looks cool. Let's investigate further on what opportunities might be available or what this actually is.
Yeah. So Olympics, hopefully getting added to the 2028 on the ballot, it sounds like. If there's somebody in DTA Nation that wants to be the Olympic lacrosse source, I'm going to open up that position. I'm opening up an Olympic lacrosse source position. If somebody wants to be my source for Olympic lacrosse coverage, I'm officially opening that position up. Again, we need sources. We need sources. We need experts. So if there's somebody who's super passionate about Olympics and following lacrosse and Olympic lacrosse, international lacrosse, I'm looking for an international lacrosse source. Ted, I'm getting the sense that you're looking something up. I can see your screen. I can see you focusing. What are you diving into over there?
One of our friends of our show was saying that I'm trying to pronounce it here, the Haudenosaunee, formerly the Iroquois, are not included in this world lacrosse situation here, which is a big miss. Obviously as the creators of the sport, and like you can't not have them be part of it. It's just so I sorry, my camera's being weird, but I don't know like I don't understand the reason why. I haven't dug into it. But like it kind of feels like that needs to be figured out in order to really call it like a world championship. Like that they need to be part of it.
Yeah, I am not educated enough to, even guess on why they wouldn't be. I don't know if the Olympic Committee has certain regulations. Again, this is why we need a source. I don't know if the Olympic Committee has certain regulations on, what would be designated as a country, that could participate and compete. Again, I don't know. So I'm not going to speculate because I am not educated enough on that. But I will second you on that would be a huge miss and a huge thing that we still have time to iron out. And that should be ironed out and figured out. And, they need to be represented and have a team and be a part of this. So, hopefully it's a temporary miss, and hopefully it's something that they're working on, and that, they can have their representation, at the Olympics.
Agreed.
I think I'm going to save my last topic here. I had another one, but I think I'm going to save it for next week. Kind of let some things iron out here. On that, do we want to break the news now? Is that or anything else to add on the Olympics? Is the girls being included in the Olympics? Do we know? Boys and girls?
So.
That's good.
I thought it was still sixes format. I thought
sixes for girls too.
Time.
Sixes for girls too.
I could be completely wrong, but I thought it was supposed to go last time, and it didn't.
I don't know. So
maybe again, this is just the next phase of voting. We need a source on this because clearly none of us have read into it enough to know, other than just like the Instagram post. There was a lot of things on Instagram that were more important than a lacrosse at the Olympics that I was reading about. So we can maybe dig deeper into that ourselves too.
I believe it was men's and women's.
Good. That's great news. On to the breaking news. And I'm sure people have guesses. We've teased some things, but I don't think you're going to be expecting this one. I know we've teased some things. People are waiting for some announcements. This is an announcement from left field. This one's coming in from nowhere. Not nowhere, but
it's kind of really spot on.
It's on brand. This is something that it's not out of nowhere because we've been working on it and we've been having conversations, but we haven't teased it. We haven't been talking to the public about it. But this is something, I don't know. I'm fired up for this. I think, I speak for everyone. I think 10, Katie, JP, I think the whole Down the Alley crew is fired up for this. I did an unboxing of this, and it'll be posted on Instagram. By the time this is up, we'll throw this on Instagram, but a huge partnership to announce here. An awesome family-owned business wants to be a part of Down the Alley Nation, and after discussions, they want to be a part of it. We have the same, vision, mission. They love lacrosse. They love the sport. They love Down the Alley. They love what we do. On kind of on their side, we love what, they do as a small family-owned business, a growing business, but family-owned, local community. They integrate themselves in the communities that they're passionate about and the areas that their business serves. So, kind of without further ado, we'd love to welcome Old Southern Barbecue to Down the Alley Nation. And we're excited. We have a lot of ideas. There's things that, we're starting to discuss and ideas that we want to do and they want to do. And, maybe I'm inviting myself in. I said this, and I want to do a live podcast there. There's different, we have a lot of different ideas. So I don't want to spoil them or put the cart before the horse, but Old Southern Barbecue, welcome to Down the Alley Nation. They're helping us cover kind of like the technology and things, and they're going to be part of, again, some different initiatives that we want to push in the future. Kind of before I show off a few things, Ted, Katie, anything to add on Old Southern Barbecue and this new partnership that we have?
Yeah, we're really grateful. It was awesome to connect with them. They're a big lacrosse. They're big lacrosse fans, but also lacrosse family. They love the local sports community, and like PMAC said, they've got locations kind of all over the metro. And one thing I feel like we haven't had yet as a show is sort of a go-to place where, like, pre/post game or on big nights that we need a place, we haven't really had that partner. And after some conversations with them, that is what excites me the most, is hopefully we can bring the lacrosse community together, like in person together a little bit more via their locations around the Twin Cities, as like kind of a lacrosse place. And so, obviously they're really great people, and from the little we've gotten to know them, and we're excited about having a partner, having a sponsor, but being able to do this together with them in the lacrosse community.
I think it was a supernatural kind of like we keep saying, like, partnership. Like, it seems like the values they have as they run their restaurants, it seems like that's kind of what we're trying to build from a bigger picture, like the larger scope with the podcast, in finding that way to connect with people. And what better way to do that than sharing a meal, and the values of dinner time and getting together with friends and family around a table and, connecting and talking. And their restaurants are really the place to do that. So I think it's just like a no-brainer. And obviously we talk about barbecue. We love eating barbecue. So I think it's bringing, the way the podcast always goes to is always talking about smoking meat and things, bringing that aspect to the community aspect, to kind of that shared family value of sitting around and connecting, all in one place. And they gave us a t-shirt and I wore it yesterday, and it was so insanely comfortable that I'm glad they gave me two different colors, because I might have to like put that in the wash and get that in the rotation, because it is the most comfortable t-shirt I have worn in a really long time. And so I'm super excited and obviously grateful that they reached out to us. They sent us some cool swag. I'm super excited to eat there. And I agree. I think there's going to be a really cool home base that kind of naturally progresses out of this, and their presence in other communities that we're not quite comfortable yet in. I think that's going to be the natural bridge to get the lacrosse into that community by getting to that, like their location there. I think that's going to be super cool.
Yeah, talking about their swag, they sent over these awesome t-shirts. These are all for sale on their website. I got a blue one. This sweatshirt, I can't wait to
So
rock.
comfy.
Have you worn it yet?
I put it on because the t-shirt was so comfortable, so comfy, and yeah, it has a pig on it.
Yeah, fire me up. Fire me.
You know what I loved about that sweatshirt? It's lightweight.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it's so soft.
Wake up in the morning in a cold Minnesota winter day, you need to have a sweatshirt on. But if you're like outside doing stuff, you want your thick Carhartt, deal to like keep you warm. But if you're inside your house, you can't just be wearing a t-shirt, but you put like a thick sweatshirt on, you're sweating your ass off.
I sleep in a sweatshirt, so
Okay,
I
great.
like having a thin sweatshirt.
That's a different episode topic altogether. But it's like a lighter weight sweatshirt, so it's super comfortable to wear around the house, or go out to dinner in or whatever. So yeah, shout out to the sourcing team.
Yeah, no, they hooked us up too. So again, this is all stuff that you can get on their website. They sent over some rubs. I'm on their sauces. They sent over some sauces. Awesome branding on these things. Check this one out. Just the branding's dialed in on all these things. Let me go to the seasonings here. So they sent over a few. I'm going to give a quick breakdown of what they sent over. I have not tried these yet. Yeah, I'll do breakdowns on these, probably on the Instagram, maybe on the podcast, as well as I like cooking in the backyard. So I'll keep the people updated on as I dive into these. We just got this stuff. Steak and butter. What's better than a steak and butter rub? I don't know. I'm not trying to start with the best one, but it's at the top of their list here. This one, best beef seasoning by the National Barbecue Association. Not a big deal when it's steak and butter. Yeah, I don't doubt that. Gillen chicken. So I eat chicken and rice for lunch at least 3 days a week. I'm dialing in that diet. So I'm gonna be able to test this one out real soon. They said this one's always been the bridesmaid. A lot of second place awards, which I can relate. I can relate to this rub pretty. I've been getting second place the last few years. So Gillen chicken rub, you and me might be best friends. Rib rub, they're saying this is also great on pork chops. And then I don't know if this is the best one or not, but the brisket rub, this is probably the one that people are going to, they're going to judge harshly. So again, I'll dive into this, twist my arm. I'm sure Ted will, ask me when I do it, but, I'll test this bad boy out. I'll throw this on a brisket and give a good review here of that one. And then the sauces, these are again, the branding on these things are sick. Southern Gal, this is their most popular one. It's a sweet sauce. Dixie Red, mild and smoky. Another one. One best mild sauce in America. Not a big deal. Chicago Blue. This is the owner's personal favorite. Go ahead.
I opened the Chicago Blue a couple nights ago. I know technically probably shouldn't be having barbecue sauce with some of the new quote unquote diet things, but my kids like barbecue sauce with anything that we make, so that's what we had available. So I opened it up. Super good. It's very like rich and like molassesy, like almost like got like a bittersweet to it. And so it's like that really thick smoky sauce. It's not like a thin like tangy. It's like the thick and rich and sweet. So if you like that, I would say I'm probably more towards like the tangy, like spicy barbecue sauce personally, but I did enjoy it.
And again, just looking at the branding on this is just clean and crisp. It catches my eye. So, and then the Chicago Fire, this is my personal one. I'm most excited. I like to sweat when I eat a little bit. So I'm excited to try the Chicago Fire. They're calling it a Midwest hot. It was designed to be hot for the sake of being hot. Flavor first, kind of heat comes on the back end. So I personally am excited for that one. To give a run, because I like my barbecue. I like hot barbecues and hot sauces in general.
And like I will post the video that you made, PMAC, on the Instagram, and maybe by the time this episode is out, it will have already been posted. But we were in talks about our partnership and what was going to happen and all that kind of stuff. And then the swag box, the barbecue box that we got was just a Friday special. So I have like 30 boxes of apparel in my garage for all the Titan apparel and all the Team 36 apparel. And I'm like, oh, here's another box. It must have been like, a back order on some of the gear. And I pick it up and I'm like, oh my God, this is super heavy. And I'm like, oh, what did I order that I didn't get yet? And I crack it open and I see like barbecue sauces. And I'm like, oh my God, like this is the greatest surprise I've ever had in my life. A box full of barbecue sauces and rubs.
Christmas in October. And all this stuff. So this isn't exclusive to Down the Alley. Like this stuff they sell on their website. And if I'm being honest, Old Southern Barbecue could probably raise their prices. Like their prices aren't bad at all. I pay more for my rubs and barbecue sauces from different companies all the time. So, maybe they'll give us a Down the Alley discount code in the future, but I honestly don't think you guys need it. This, their prices are crazy reasonable in my opinion. I'm just gonna, hopefully they're listening. I would just love a hat. I don't know if that was mixed in the order, so I don't see that on their store. So I'm gonna throw that out in the universe. Maybe they can, maybe throw some hats in or maybe throw it up at the store. I would love another barbecue hat. Always in the market for a new hat. I know Ted is too. So, but all this other stuff from the rubs to the sauces, their beer glasses, these are sick. And then there's swag too. This 10 Katie already broke theirs in. I've been kind of saving mine so I can kind of unpack it for you guys here on the pod and whatever. So I'm going to be diving in and trying this stuff as soon as possible and giving you guys, give everybody feedback on their stuff. But it sounds like the sauce is good. The swag is comfortable, and we'll be rubbing sauce on some meat here soon.
Another idea too, because like we like to cook in our family, but I know some people don't. When did we first start? We have started doing barbecue at the major holidays. When was that thing, or when was that Christmas Eve at your house, Ted? 2021? Probably.
I think it was 2020. Don't tell the government.
I know. I think one of these years we did a rib off for Christmas Eve. And then the following year, my mom wanted us to do a brisket for Thanksgiving. And then we did a brisket at Christmas, like a year later.
Yeah, we've definitely
And so we do now, and we'll do turkey too. And we do Christmas Eve. So like I know it's more customary to do like, hey, I don't know what people do at Christmas dinner because I don't really do Christmas. We've never really done that.
Yeah, I'm curious. I have to look at that chicken rub. Excuse me. Wonder if that could be a nice seasoning on your Thanksgiving turkey.
Well, that's what I was getting at. The PMAX are hosting, so we are officially bringing it down a generation in our household. Ted and Annie, you guys have hosted, but I guess in my experience, it's never been to my generation yet. So we are hosting, and we're gonna do two turkeys. We're gonna deep fry one, and we're gonna smoke one. We've smoked one in the past. But I'm saying, what I'm thinking is if you don't do that, just get catering, just get barbecue catered. I wonder if they do special, like even if you do like chicken or something.
Sure, they would. I'm sure
That was what I was originally thinking of, or just get the rubs. But I'm sure that chicken one would be just fine on a turkey.
Oh, I bet it would be.
Brisket like us on holidays. I guess now we do briskets. PMAC and I are already arguing about that. Maybe we'll make Ted do a brisket on Thanksgiving because we're doing two turkeys. Maybe we'll make Ted do the brisket.
We're frying a turkey. That's going to take 30 minutes.
Well, and we're smoking a turkey.
Yeah, I want to fill up the smoker. I'm going to be cooking all day and probably the night before. Hey, no. Let me handle the backyard. Not to bring our Thanksgiving fights to the podcast, but let me handle the backyard.
But I'm in charge of everything. So I need to make sure that what you're doing in the backyard is under my supervision.
No,
so it's all a part of my overarching umbrella plan.
Let Ted supervise the backyard. Tell Annie that Ted needs to help supervise me in the backyard.
Fine.
Yeah. I can do that. And I think, I don't know if we have any listeners left at this point. I would say that chicken rub, if it's 1 second place in a bunch of competitions, it probably, turkey and chicken are very similar. They're both poultry. I would guess it would be pretty darn good on a turkey as well.
What's the over under that this is just going to turn into a cooking like podcast?
Yeah,
in the next 30 days before Thanksgiving.
Highly likely. I think we'll do.
It's going to turn into a hosting, holiday decor, menu planning, meal prep.
From April till June 15th, we'll talk about high school lacrosse, and then it's just barbecue and cooking the rest of the time.
Because in this household, we have I'm actually hosting some family this weekend, but we have completely skipped over Halloween, and Thanksgiving prep is like underway already.
Did you order your Thanksgiving outfit yet?
No. PMAC
are you going to?
This dress we found, and it's not cheap. And he's like, "You have to get this," and I'm like, "I don't know." He says it's a pilgrim dress. It's from Anthropologie, and if anybody knows Anthropologie, it's not a pilgrim.
Well,
so that's all we have, I guess.
That's all we got. Thank you to Old Southern Barbecue. We're fired up for this partnership. And yeah, we can kind of, leave it at that. There's going to be more to come. And, hopefully we come up with some fun ideas, to partner, with them on, in the upcoming season and hopefully before then too, for some off season stuff. So, a lot of ideas. I want to get over there. So I'm inviting myself in. I want to do a live podcast there. I need to eat a meal there. And then, we're going to be diving into the rubs and, hopefully they can make me and Ted at least some hats. So, maybe some exclusive hats for DTA Nation. I don't know. I know they listen. So, and then the ideas are going to keep flowing from our end. So, Old Southern Barbecue, welcome to DTA Nation officially, and congrats to lacrosse in general, getting an opportunity to be voted into the Olympics. I hate Subway still. They're the reason for student loan crisis in America.
And we'll keep you
And-
updated on our Thanksgiving menu next week or the week after.
And that's all I got. That's all I got for this week. You got any other closing thoughts?
No, we're
No.
done.
Okay. Adios.